So how do we set up Kubernetes? The answer is we don't. In that case, I decided, okay, setting up Kubernetes and the different techniques that we could use could be an entire full-day workshop, honestly, if we want to cover like cloud and on-prem and etc. So instead, I decided I'm going to give you clusters that are already set up, and they have been set up with kubeadm. kubeadm is a super easy way to set up a cluster. You do like kubeadm init on the master node, and then kubeadm join on the other nodes, and it works. The drawback is that you need to have Docker installed on the machines. You need to set up the overlay network, so I kind of flied between the init and the join. You need to set up the overlay network. And when you want to script that, it's not obvious. And also, it doesn't handle multi-master setup yet. And my personal drawback is that I miss the Docker Swarm init and Docker Swarm join commands because they were much easier, but that's a different story. So what are like real, because kubeadm is not for production. It's written like in big letters, don't use this for production because it's set up only one master, and in production you want to have multi-master. So the real life deployment options, a couple of months ago I did a kind of interview with a bunch of Kube production users, and almost everyone said, well, we tried a bunch of things and we ended up, for now, at least for the beginning, running on GKE, the hosted version of Google, because it was the most polished out there. Other cloud vendors are catching up super fast. Like Azure just announced, I think, like their hosted Kube thing. There is reInvent, like the big Amazon conference at the end of November, so you can be like 99% sure that they're going to announce something around Kube as well. If you're using AWS, there is something called COPS, which is a pretty good way to deploy Kube on AWS. On local machines, you can use Minikube, KubeSpawn. Last week there was DockerCon and Docker Inc. and said, hey, we are going to add Kube to Docker for Mac. So installing Kube on a Mac is going to be super easy. There is a project that I particularly like, which is Kubicorn, which is I'm going to try to describe it as a kind of library that you can use mostly in Go to write stuff to deploy Kube clusters, and not only deploy them, but do some self-healing there. So you can, because Kube works on like the container level, but then there is the level below, like the nodes, the infrastructure, and Kubicorn helps to script that and to make that layer dynamic and to scale up and down, etc., etc. Plus, you have many commercial options out there, like from Tectonic to now even Docker EE and many more.